A juggernaut has awakened from its slumber. It's drowsy. It's a little morning grumpy. But a juggernaut is awakening from its slumber. Let's talk about it, New York City. So, I think we saw a fully healthy, a clearly understands each other, right? I mean, truth be told, Drew Holiday is a new member of the team that has been acclimating himself since the beginning of the season. James Harden got here like 2 days ago. In a rocky start of a season this NBA has had some surprises, has had some ups and downs, had some teams with some early struggles. But yet and still, the Milwaukee Bucks are at the top of the Eastern Conference. And the Nets are, I believe, the 5th seed coming into the night. It was important for the Nets in their newest incarnation to make a statement, not just to the rest of the NBA. I think that's what mattered to the team the most, is making the statement to the rest of the NBA that we are for real. And we're just starting to figure it out. So imagine when we do. And then at the same time, it's also sending a message to the fans. Today we heard more stories about the Sixers being used as leverage against the Nets. I don't believe that. I think they really were interested. I don't think they were Ben Simmons interested. But I really believe that a lot of the Sixers stuff was a smokescreen to get Jared Allen to the deal. They wanted Jared Allen. And we lost a hell of a good young player in Jared Allen. But what the Nets have gotten back, I think the value of what the Nets has gotten back has to be definite championship. They lost a lot. They have limited ways to fill those holes. And they've taken steps backwards. But what James Harden showed you tonight is the beginning of what may be Nets reality for the next couple years. James Harden is an elite player. One that I don't think we've I don't think we've had one player as good as James Harden. I mean, Carmelo Anthony, close? Not even?
In terms of, like, recently or, like Dr. J?
Exactly. We have a team of 3 Dr. J's. That's how good this Nets team is. That's how good what we saw was tonight. Is there any hyperbole in what I'm saying, Sam?
No, I mean, like, you have to look at this game and be like, they just took on the look until they're not. You basically just took on the back-to-back 1 seed in the East, and it was without it was without Kyrie. Like, I don't really know much more there. I don't really know what more there is to say. The only takeaway you can have from this game is, like, all right, well, like, how is Kyrie going to get how is Kyrie going to get his? And like, will that take away from Harden or Durant? But the truth is, like, I actually think they could have used another scorer there today. Like, I think Kyrie would have really helped today. I don't think he would have taken away anything from the other three guys.
So whose minutes is going? It's a very hard thing to.
Well, look, this is one thing I feel really strongly about, and I know you're going to feel this way as well as someone who's nervous about all these guys getting hurt and stuff like that. Like, we can't be having in regular season games, especially in a condensed season like this, you can't have like Durant and Harden consistently playing like 38, 40 minutes a night. Like, that's just like, it's not sustainable. It doesn't make any sense for the playoffs, especially when you don't have that much time. Like, Harden played 41 minutes tonight. Durant played 36. Like, you need Kyrie.
I feel like
there.
there's 8 minutes. I feel like there's 8 minutes that each one of them can have with just, the bench warmers. Like, basically find, like, I think they just need to find these stretches where they each have alone time.
No, I think you're right.
And because all three of them can lead a team for quite a while, and even on the off nights, I think it's just a good way to just keep their minutes down. Because right now, they you see the competitive fire. You see the joy. Like, there wasn't as much joy after this game. I think there was a lot they didn't like. I think they wanted to dominate this team, and that to me is the best sign of the entire night, is that they didn't want to just beat this team, which they did. They weren't really satisfied with that. They understood that they threw the ball all around the yard tonight. They again, the team who shot the best almost didn't win the game. Because that other team got so many more possessions and so many more offensive rebounds.
Yep.
And your defense wasn't great on some of the secondary and tertiary players on the Bucks. I think they got off more than they needed to. And I think, but for me to think that it'd be frustrating if I thought that myself and you thought it with me, Sam, but the Nets didn't think it. The most impressed I was tonight was watching James Harden look a little bit mad, like, yeah, we should have really beat these guys by 10, 15. Did you notice that?
Yeah, and like I think they know, and I actually think it's why it's kind of frustrating for Giannis, who I think as we watch Giannis more and more, you kind of see that this dude should not be treated in the same view and in the same grouping as these wings, because he's really not a wing. He's just like a modern day.
He's not a wing at all.
He's not a wing. He's a modern day Shaq. And so the truth is that like.
You've never seen anything like Giannis before, because you're right. He basically out physicals you to the basket in every way, in his dribble.
He's Shaq and can dribble down the court without anyone stealing the ball.
Shaq needed more help.
Yep.
Someone had to get Shaq the ball. Shaq would camp out where he was. Giannis, brings the ball up. He could get the ball off of curls. He could start his game at the 3-point line. It's just his shot. Like, there's such a big difference between 32 points from Giannis versus 32 points from Kevin Durant.
Right. So what I was gonna say was that, like, what I think Harden and Durant know, and is that like, as much as you got to respect Middleton, who I thought that shot was going in at the end, like they know, like, holy shit, we have the two best guys on the floor right now that can get a shot on our own. And when Kyrie is hit there, we have the three best guys that can get a shot on their own. And like, as good as Middleton is, and as much attention as Giannis can draw, like, you can't compare the amount of attention that Giannis draws to the amount of attention that KD and Harden draw. It's just a different type of it's just a different type of recognition that the entire team has to have. Like, when Giannis gets the ball, basically from the out of bounds on the other side of the court, all the way to almost the free throw line. You almost don't need to guard him. Whereas like Harden, he basically is getting a full court press. Like the amount of, and same thing with Durant. Like these guys need constant attention on them, and I mean it honestly shows how difficult it's going to be to guard the Nets, because you can't double them, and even if you wanted to double one of them, then it leaves one-on-ones, and as we saw, like Harden, you basically cannot have one guy on him. Like, and I thought DiVincenzo actually did a really nice job on him, like considering, and same thing with Connaughton. I thought Middleton did a nice job on Durant at times.
What,
but
did
like,
he get 32?
Yeah,
did a beautiful job.
but like as me and you were watching this, it's like none of this is actually that difficult. Like you're talking about, look, like Drew Holiday is excellent, and like everybody says, like Durant has said it on, I think he said on the podcast with Kyrie or with JJ Redick, one of the two, he was like Drew is the best perimeter defender in basketball, and like and it's true, like they have a lot of great defensive pieces, but like I mean, like I'm laughing not even to be like arrogant or cocky, but it's just like Harden needed two guys on him, and that's all only at the perimeter. He then gets by that first line of defense. Then everyone has to shift up, and that leads this cascade of events that basically leads to like someone's going to be open for a three or for a pump fake and then a wide open two. Like I just don't. Honestly, preparing for them seems like preparing for the Kansas City Chiefs. It looks like a nightmare.
It's the offense is stupid. It's stupid.
But it is but just to say, like it is kind of like the Chiefs in a sense that like it's like, yeah, like if you want to double team Tyreek Hill, that's all good, but like I don't know what you're gonna do about Kelsey. I don't know what you're gonna do about like Watkins. I don't know what you're gonna do about Mahomes running. Like it's like I mean we haven't even seen Kyrie get in the mix here. I mean, this is game. Think about the excuses, and I know that things are going to get more difficult as they do, as we saw after the first. Look how the first two games went this year, and then what happened after. But like, I mean, these are the first two games together. These are the two games together, and Kyrie hasn't played yet.
The only thing that can stop this team is injuries,
and themselves, yeah,
and themselves, right? Look, they can't defend. That's
yeah, sure.
that's the long and short of it. Like, I felt like I didn't even see Giannis in this game, but he did get 32. He had an excellent game. Like his stat line is incredible, but I didn't feel him. I
agree. I think that's perfectly said.
Yo, and because of it, I feel like if you just had someone who can physically match up with him and turn that 32 into 28, 26, this team could not do anything with us. We're sweeping this team. We're beating this team in 5. The only reason why they match up a little bit is because of the size and their ability to get easy baskets inside. Their power forward today was James Harden. James Harden is like an immovable object. He's not only like this runaway train going to the basket. He's also like this kind of like he must weigh like 500 pounds because he just sticks himself in the middle of the paint and gets rebounds. So it's an amazing thing to behold. Like, I just think the Nets right now, as currently built, they're incomplete. They're incomplete, and that's such a funny thing to say because even as an incomplete team, if this experiment of can an all-offense team, an all-dream offense team, and don't get me wrong, Bruce Brown played some defense, but everybody that Bruce Brown was guarding scored. So I have a hard time saying that Bruce Brown had that great of a game, but when he was in the game, the people he did scrappy things. He grabbed rebounds. He looked physical. He blocked a shot that was pretty sick. I enjoyed that. I enjoy seeing him on the floor, but truth be told, he didn't really. I think he more so contained his opposite number, and the Nets are the defense is. Can we overcome this defense, Sam? Should I feel despair